right. Hey everybody, my name is Andrew Alvarez. I'm the Latino Conservative. Thanks for joining me today, February the 1st. Now, what is wrong with the chickens? Why aren't they laying eggs? You know, with prices soaring the way they're soaring right now, we want to know this. We got that and a couple other things on today's episode. But first, let's get into a word from our affiliate sponsor. If you're like me, you've had trouble with credit in the past. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, or maybe you just want to increase it. Chime Credit Builder account is the way to go on that. You see, if you go to my website, thelatinoconservative.com, right at the top, you'll see there is a banner there that says, click here and we can both get $100. What it is you can set up a credit builder account, which is basically a secure credit card secured by your direct deposit. The more you deposit into your account, the higher your credit limit is, the better it looks. I use it every week. That's almost my sole source to direct deposit into, because I know from being in the car business for as long as I've been in, creditors love high credit spending limit accounts. So go to www.thelatinoconservative.com and click on the green banner that says Chime. I've also included it in the description below. And before we get into our stories, speaking of description, speaking of the YouTube channel, go find me on YouTube, thelatinoconservative.com, whether you're here on this screen on TikTok, whether you're over here on Instagram. Go follow me on YouTube. Just search up The Latino Conservative. You'll find me. You'll find me on there. Subscribe to my channel. Sign up for alerts so you know every time that I go live. So into our first story. What's wrong with the chickens? And by the way, yesterday's broadcast, I'm starting this new live. I'm still relatively new to it. I'm a one-man crew, so yesterday you lost sound whenever I was live. Hopefully that is fixed right now. But what's wrong with the chickens? With the chicken farms? With the feed? You know, if you're anything like me, you might like to eat chickens. Not chickens. Well, yeah, I eat chickens too, don't get me wrong, which that might be another issue coming up pretty soon. But eggs. You know, especially the breakfast tacos, chorizo and eggs, bacon and eggs, bean and eggs, eggs. I used to pay like $1.50 for a dozen and a half even. I just bought some beginning of this week. And I want to say I spent close to $8 for freaking eggs. Eggs cost me almost $8, something that normally cost me $8.50. And that's not just inflation. People will attribute it to and have tried to make the excuse of bird flu, this. Well, where does bird flu come from anyway? We know where that comes from. That's a whole different topic, a whole different story. But have we thought about the feed? We haven't looked at that much scientifically, so to say. But people are starting to wonder. They're blaming it on a cold winter. We are still getting eggs. Don't get me wrong. We are still getting eggs. The big farms are making eggs. You know who's not making the eggs? The independent farmers. You've got some people that claim that they went months, Whereas previously they were getting 15 eggs a day from their chickens, small home farms, whatnot. But now they've gone for months getting only 15 eggs in those months, claiming bird flu. Now, bird flu did make an impact on some of the big farms, the Tysons, those farms. However, the smaller farms, not so much. Why? People could say, there's not as many chickens there, but, bird flu, birds fly and they can get into your chicken area, whatever. You put feed on the ground, the other birds are going to eat it too. They do. That's what birds do. They eat. You throw stuff out there. My mom used to throw feed out there all the time and birds will come flocking. And it's like, have you ever seen some seagulls where if you have one piece of bread out and one seagull comes and gets it, all of a sudden you've got all of them. They've got this ESPN stuff happening or something. Birds know when to eat, where to eat, when the food is being made. They know how to communicate like that. I don't know how it is, but they do. So what's going on with that? We don't know what's going on with that. Let's play a little video clip here. This is from TikTok, a TikTok user.
Something is wrong with the chicken food we're buying. Seriously. My chickens have not laid an egg since July. And
For
nothing's
those of y'all on
changed. And
TikTok
I was
and on
thinking maybe
Instagram,
it's because my chickens are getting older or
sorry,
maybe
you
it's
can't
bad
hear it,
winter. But according to a lot of people on TikTok, they're having the same exact problem. And people are saying once they switch food, their chickens are starting to lay eggs again. So I'm going to switch their food and we'll see. Maybe something's wrong with the food. And was it intentional? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.
So this guy, and I'm going to go find his TikTok account here. This guy went in and changed up his feed, and now he has eggs.
It's been less than a week since we changed the chicken feed, and I have great news. We have eggs. Now, one thing I want to bring to your attention is this egg here, the speckled one. This is from my black copper Maron.
See, he's got those eggs in his hand right there.
It's been less than a week since we changed the chicken feed, and I have great news.
So either way, you get the point. So people have gone in and started looking at what's really going on with these eggs. And it turns out that what the theory is, and I don't want to be too dogmatic because you know how YouTube is. They like to try to say if you say something that isn't proven, it's fake news and whatnot. I haven't gotten a strike yet on YouTube, and I don't want to yet because, like I said, I've been doing this for 3 or 4 years, but I've just now started to be able to do this on a daily basis, and I don't want to get any strikes yet. I'm a small channel, 579 subscribers, so I don't know who's actually going to see this, but please go hit me up. Hit that like, share, subscribe button. Let me know that you're out there. But what the independent farmers have been claiming is that once they changed their feed, that almost instantly chickens started laying eggs. It's kind of weird, isn't it? I didn't know that chicken laying eggs was like a human lady, a human woman menstruating, because that's what it is. It's their period. They pop an egg out on their cycle and then go about their day. I didn't know that that's what happened, and it makes sense because when a human woman has issues with her diet, doesn't diet well, doesn't eat right, we all know that it changes her cycle, changes her medicine, like it changes her monthly visitor, whatever you want to call it. When they take a certain medicine, has the same type of effect. So why wouldn't the same effect happen to other animals? Birds, for example, chickens. It can. If you don't get the right nutrients, you can't produce everything that you normally do. Like these chickens, they can't produce their eggs. Now you're getting some chickens that are egg bound, I think is what the term is called, where the eggs are stuck. And they can't hatch them because they just sit there and grow. Then they're just stuck. Why do I think that China is behind this? Maybe just a little bit, Maybe, I don't know. But it comes back to money. It's going to come back to money because the bulk of the feed that these independent farmers have been using that are not producing eggs, and even some of the big commercial farms, is made by Purina. It's a commercial brand farm you can get at Tractor Supply, and it just they changed the formula a few months ago, prior to all of this happening, when they were saying the bird flu was around, and almost instantly overnight, chickens stopped laying eggs. And yes, again, people attribute it to bird flu, which I'm not gonna say that that bird flu doesn't contribute at all to chickens not laying eggs, but when birds get the bird flu, they generally don't survive it. The chickens that are left surviving should still be producing eggs. So here's a catch on that. Purina, if you track it down, they are the major supplier for eggs to Walmart through a different company, starts like Morick or something to that extent. Because if you look on the egg cart, the egg crate, you'll see their name on it. You will see that same name on, believe it or not, egg cartons from HEB in Texas. We love our HEB, but you're going to see the same name on those cartons. You track that company name down, it tracks back to Purina because Purina bought them. And if you start feeding your chickens different feed, almost instantly they start laying eggs. A good amount of eggs. Now, Nestle owns Purina. You know, like Nestle's Quick, the big food maker. The CEO of Nestle, and Nestle is a publicly traded and owned company, which means that we taxpayers essentially own them. But they have a CEO. Their CEO is American. I can't say that their CEO is any Chinese because he's actually American German. I forget his name. I just saw it. I just looked it up right before I came online. But my thought behind that is, again, this is my opinion because that's what I do. I opinionate, is that with all the land that China has bought up for farming that was used as farmland, there may be some ties in there. Or maybe just Nestle doesn't want to compete with other egg brands. Go figure. So another reason why I think China may have something to do with it is because China clones super cows that can put out 300 tons of milk. Has China been known generally for milk production? I don't know. This story is coming from timcast.com. Researchers are seeking ways to increase domestic milk production without spiking and producing greenhouse gas emissions. Cow farts again. You know, they're talking about AOC's Green New Deal. But it makes sense to me that if China is producing more milk, you know, they already produce fake honey. Believe it or not, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that before, but they produce fake honey so much that there are laws against that now. In fact, I want to say for a while we were at least throwing legislation around to prevent us from getting honey from China because it was fake, labeled as real China. Then China started shipping their fake honey to us through other countries. So now they're making essentially fake milk. These cloned animals that they're producing to produce extra milk, why wouldn't that come over by way of chickens as well? Maybe they're trying to kill off the competition. See where I'm getting at there? There's some ties there. They're trying to kill off the competition there and make it so they own stock in eggs. Because think about it. When you go to the store, what are the three things that you almost always buy that you consume? Actually, I guess you can name it four. Four things. Toilet paper. We all know that. We saw what almost happened with there. We saw what happened with toilet paper during the pandemic. Eggs, right? Bread and milk. This is the missing factor. So you got toilet paper, eggs, bread, and milk. Eggs, bread, and milk. Eggs, bread, and milk. You eat that to live. That is life-sustaining food. You've got your protein in your eggs. You got your grains and your fibers in your bread. And you've got your dairy in your milk. You can almost live off of that. How are they going to come for our bread next? You know, I've been eating this keto bread that's kind of weird. It doesn't toast, which that's going to be another story because I've got some updates on my Manjaro journey. We'll call it that. But I'm going to do some research and some more digging in on that before I give another update. But I don't see China not finding a way to attack our milk, our eggs, which I think they already are, and our bread. There's a saying out there that says soldiers or the army fights with their bellies or something to that extent. Basically, the meaning of it is if you want to beat a military force, starve them. The way you beat our military force is to starve them. The way you beat our people is to starve them. Because I also say a war is not won when you kill the military. A war is won when you kill their civilians. And think about that. Think about that for a second. It is a well-known fact in every other country out there that even if you were to find a way to one-up our army, you will not one-up the people of the United States because behind every blade of grass, there's a gun. There's more guns in the United States than there are people. And with prices going up, food sources going away, we're going to get hungry. We are going to get hungry. So, my 2 cents on that. What are your thoughts about that? Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. Next topic. You know, I wouldn't be the Latino conservative without getting too political. You know me, right? But again, let me remind y'all, go like, share, subscribe. Just please, I'm trying to grow this content, grow this page up. For those of you who might be seeing this again for the first time in a while, I was traveling and I don't travel anymore. This is my home. This right here is in my living room. It's in a little corner. It's in a little corner, which this is all going to get updated. This is just the way it looks for now. And I'm working on a set. It's going to look like an official set, you know, but it's still going to be my home studio because I'm home every day now. I work from here. I work from home. But let me know what y'all think about that. Drop me a comment. Help me build up my subscriber base to 1,000 on my YouTube channel. My TikTok over here. Share this content, please. And I'm sorry I can't interact with y'all over here so much over here because I'm looking at my camera over there. So let me read a couple comments right quick. Can't imagine buying the cheapest feed. Okay, makes sense. And by the way, for those of y'all on YouTube watching live, I'm reading some TikTok comments. Jesus taught, when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray on TikTok. I've seen a lot on TikTok. I guess I do kind of look like a preacher, right? It's my bad. Is this a math problem? No. So I got somebody basically on my TikTok looks like they're trying to troll me or whatever. It happens. It's TikTok. But let's go right. Let's talk about our next political problem, which is going to tie into this one. This has to do with my man, Ron DeSantis. You know, I really hope Ron DeSantis runs for president. I understand if he doesn't because he's got a lot on his plate right now. He has tons going on, family and with his job. I'm going to say this real quick. Speaking of running, I'm going to caveat to this. If you also followed me previously, you know that I ran for Congress in this past cycle. In Texas, District 27. I ran against the incumbent Republican, Michael Cloud. And I tried to primary him. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a conservative. I'm a Republican. I learned a lot from that campaign. You know, that area covered Victoria, Texas, Corpus Christi, 13 counties in Texas. That's my home. That's where I grew up. I'm going to run for Congress again. I can't say exactly where yet or exactly when, but, you know, don't be surprised if it's in the next cycle. Just FEC laws say that I can't say it quite yet, but what I can do is I can raise money. So in the pinned comment on this recording, if you watch it later on, there's going to be a link to my Get on the Ballot fundraiser, because to get on the congressional ballot, it is $3,125. It will not be against Michael Cloud, because I'm going to be plain out honest. Prior to this cycle going on right now, we didn't hear much from him. He didn't do much. I will say this. He absolutely made me proud when he stood against Kevin McCarthy, because he wanted to make sure he got some stuff done that he didn't want to just throw out and say, hey, you're the Speaker of the House. No, he stood up. He's with the Freedom Caucus. So good on him, Michael Cloud. I will not run against you again unless you just totally blow it. But go to the pinned comment. Once I make that comment, check back. Look for that link, Operation Get on the Ballot. Or if you're on my TikTok, there's this little links thing that you can look at. You know, links in the bio type thing. There's a top secret mission there too that you can link to. Instagram, I'll post it there later on. So back to my boy Ron DeSantis. DeSantis says his administration will work with legislature to stop sex change drugs and procedures being given to minors. Good on you, Ron DeSantis. Good on you. Now I know exactly what people are going to say, but Andrew, you're being, whatever the term is, homophobic now or transphobic. If you don't support kids being transitioned, well, you know what? I absolutely do not support kids being transitioned. Medically, through medicine, surgery, it is against the law. It should be banned. It is an absolute atrocity. That child will never be able to fully develop. If you give them hormone blockers at 13 years old, that 13-year-old boy is going to stay a 13-year-old boy. You know, when kids develop, and I know this is a touchy topic, but certain body parts develop. A 13-year-old appendage is not a 21-year-old appendage. Now, if that 21-year-old adult wants to transition then and get that gender confirmation, quote unquote, surgery, then by all means, you do you, boo-boo. That's all you. But if they try to chop it off when they're 13, or even better yet, they give them hormone blockers at 13 years old, that appendage will not get the chance to develop. That extra skin needed for that, again, big air quotes, gender confirmation surgery, that extra skin needed for that will not be there. But let's take it another step. If you have kids, and if you remember from back in your childhood, we started off maybe, I want to be a policeman when I grow up. I know me, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a truck driver like my dad. He drove the big trucks that would carry these big, huge concrete beams that freeways and roads were built on. Most of the freeways that are in Houston, he had a hand in building because he drove the concrete needed for those, all the way from Victoria, Texas to Houston, Texas. About 3 or 4 hour drive because they were heavy trucks, 100 tons at least for a concrete beam. They had to make several trips convoy of about 10 trucks in a line. I wanted to do that. That was my goal up until I was about 10 years old. Then I want to be a professional baseball player. I'm not a professional baseball player. In fact, I kind of sucked at baseball. Then, what did I want to do then? I remember wanting to be a policeman. Wanted to be in the Army, but I was too fat. When I got into junior high, I started wanting to play football. I didn't, though, until 8th grade. I played for one season. My 8th grade football weigh-in, I was 264 pounds, 5'10". Something like that. I was a big kid. I wanted to play football. I want to be a professional football player all of a sudden because they made lots of money. Then after that, football's not my thing. I kind of sucked at that too. But track and field, I was actually good at that because I was good at the shot put in the disc because I could chunk a ball and I could throw a big metal frisbee. I was good at that. But, all at the same time, I was still in band. I ended up not doing track and field because I failed out and I stayed playing band. Then once I got to high school, and I'm getting there. Just watch. Once I got to high school, I wanted to pursue a career as a musician. I was good. I was really good. Played in all region bands, all state bands, area band. My senior year, I took up journalism. I sucked at it, but it was fun. Then college, I was actually a music education major. That was my major. I toured the country with the group called the Blue Coats. That was awesome. I was freaking awesome. One of the best in my city. Then I ended up in the call center industry. Ended up in sales. Actually, I ended up doing door-to-door sales for a while, selling Kirby vacuum cleaners. Then I started selling websites over the phone, cold calling. Then I started selling AT&T products, long-distance services, and stuff like that. Then I got into the car business. Yeah, and that's where I spent the last 15 years of my career is in the car business. I started doing this about 4 years ago. Started getting into politics about 5 years. Actually, I started getting into politics when Obama was president. See what I mean? How can we expect a kid who is 13 years old to want to stay and be the opposite gender? We can't. Kids make up their minds. Heck, adults make up their minds. I still have that issue right now. I wanted to be an insurance salesperson because insurance salespeople make a lot of money. Mind you, I'm still in the car business right now. I'm still in the car business. While I was in the car business, I started selling insurance. That happened for about a year. I was decent at it, though. I didn't want to do that. Changed my mind. I want something a little different. So I got into a different department of the car business. Then all of a sudden, I want to change it up again. So I learned real estate. In fact, I've taken all of my classes for real estate. All I got to do is go take my state test. Then I got into the marketing side of my company right now. And you see where I'm getting at? Especially if they're 8 years old, 9 years old, still in junior high, elementary. That kid, we can almost guarantee will not want to be the same gender that they're going to be, that they're trying to transition to. I am proud of Ron DeSantis saying he's going to make that illegal, make it for kids. Now, again, if they're adults, you do you. If you want to chop it off, do you. That's all you. You have the right to do that. I am not going to say otherwise. In fact, you know what? When I run for Congress again, I will fight for your right to have that surgery. You pay for it. You find a way to pay for it either through your insurance or through your own money. I don't want to pay for that, but I will fight for your right to have that surgery because that is your right. But children, they can't vote. They don't pay rent. They can't sign a contract. They can't smoke. They can't drink. They can't join the military. Why? Because, especially they can't drink and smoke or do anything like that because their bodies aren't developed yet. We as a nation understand that a child's body isn't developed yet enough. And if we give them alcohol, if we give them nicotine, tobacco, CBD, heck, even coffee, if they have too much coffee, it could prevent them from developing the way they need to be developed, the way nature intended them to develop. So why on God's green earth would we give them blockers to prevent them from developing? We've got laws and laws and laws upon laws saying you can't have tobacco, you can't have this, you can't have that because it will prevent you from developing. But we got people fighting for them to take another pill to say, hey, we want to prevent you from developing. What kind of sense does that make? That's bullshit. Pardon my French. Sorry, YouTube. But that's what that is. So, yes, I do believe that should be a law that we do not allow kids to have those medications. If parents even give their kids that medication, I believe that's a form of child abuse. That is a form of child abuse because you do not let that child develop. We don't know what that kid wants to be from this year to that year. We don't know if that kid wants to be an artist today and then a dancer tomorrow and then a professional race car driver the next day. We don't know that. Kids change their mind. Adults even change their mind. Stop me when I lie. Hey guys, thanks again for letting me rant and rave at you today. My name is Andrew Alvarez. I'm the Latino Conservative. Go check me out, thelatinoconservative.com. Instagram, The Latino Conservative. TikTok, tx.latino.conservative. YouTube.com/The Latino Conservative. Like, share, subscribe, share this with people. Drop me a comment. Drop me some hate even, I'll even appreciate that because that low-key builds up my algorithm. Hey, y'all have a good day. Thank y'all.